Okay, hey everyone. I'm definitely excited to be back. I just finished up taking the New York bar 2 days ago. So today's Friday. Yep, Wednesday. And I had a day break and I took it easy. But when you do what you love, it doesn't really feel like working when you are trying to explore all the latest tools. So it was kind of hard just to stay and just watch TV and just try to force myself to relax. But today I just want to go back and explore all the tools that I missed from the past week and a half, where I was like, okay, you know what? I need to actually sit down and focus. So I quickly did a brief overview of some of the tools that I really wanted to try out over the past week or so that were released. And that includes uh, Google Opal, however you pronounce it. And this is a app creator. I think it's going to be like a competition to Lovable, Base 44, Replit, and I'm also going to try out some of the other apps and a few prompts to see how it does and compares against them. And we'll go into further detail with that. Then, one of my favorite platforms that's really helped me through studying was NotebookLM. And you were able to upload files, get uh, podcast overviews of your notes. And it was a really useful and cool way to study. And then we're going to look at ChatGPT study and learn mode to see what's that all about. But then recently, they expanded their video overview. So we're going to test that out to see what that kind of looks like and how helpful that will be. And then here we could see that, ChatGPT released their study and learn mode. So we're going to see what's that all about, see if they've released any more connectors that would be helpful. And we'll just dive into that a little bit. And then for a little more deep tech dive, Cursor actually, no, sorry, Claude Code released their sub agents, where now you're able to build your own agents in the terminal. And I could show you how that's done. I played around with it briefly and it seemed really cool, but I didn't really get a good try at really testing out its features. So that's briefly what we're going to touch on today. And like I said, it's just kind of me going live, playing around with it. I don't really have a certain agenda. I just kind of seeing how it works, sharing my thoughts on how I play around with it. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer it. So as I like to make these more real estate legal focused, because that's just the area I love helping. So also, as a side note, everything I'm going to be doing is within Perplexity's Comet browser. And after using it for the past week and a half, it's actually been incredible and so useful that I'm able just to open up an assistant on the side of any web page I'm at, and just to have that context. Or if I want to talk to a different web page, I'm able to talk to that web page and it's able to reference those web pages. And this has been so useful and helpful to not consistently copy paste between different tabs and put it into, let's say, ChatGPT or Claude, and then copy its answer and paste. And it just been a total game changer. So I paid the $200 to get access, but you can join a wait list if you don't want that to pay that $200, or you would need an invite to get access to it. So maybe I'll try utilizing some of this as we go. And then there's also the voice mode that I could just speak to the web page, and it's been incredible. And I know Google also released something where you're also able to speak to the web page, where I did try that out a couple of times, and I do find this was a far better experience than what Google released. So that's just as a side note. Okay. So for here, this is kind of what I'm thinking is another no code tool that allows users to build like mini apps that they have a specific use case for and may not be possible with current tools out there. And I think one of the best things about using AI right now is that you could create a tool that's tailored to exactly what you need it to do. And you don't have to rely on someone else building a product that could help you. We're in the day and age where you could take those actions, and it's really not that hard once you get used to playing around with these tools to build something that can directly help you, and you can be in charge of doing that. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I created just a quick prompt just to see what it does. That a lot of the things that I've been trying to do is try to find useful ways to find property owners of addresses. So that's what I've been doing on my live a lot. So I created a prompt, and let's see how Opal does in creating one of these mini apps for that type of prompt. So this says, build an AI-powered app for real estate agents, brokers, attorneys, allowing them to enter a property address and instantly find out who owns the property, detect if the owner is an LLC, and if so, retrieve and display the latest LLC information and the public records. Where we did this in a prior video, and if you go on my YouTube or my LinkedIn, you should see it there, where we tested this out using ChatGPT's latest agent. And it was really cool how it was able to actually access ACRES or certain county databases where you actually have to click through the website, maybe enter the block and lot number to find that information. So that was really cool to see. And we also tried it on Perplexity Comet, where it actually took over your browser and then found out that information. So this is just another way to see how it will do. So let's see, okay. We're gonna click enter and you're gonna see how it's being created. Let's see, unable to create. Okay, so this says it's not able to create that. I got this message, so can you tailor the prompt to be that if I enter an address, it will analyze the price of the house and the related houses around it and tell me if it's an accurate price or not, and evaluate the district and give me an overall holistic view of the area and tell me if I should buy it or not. Okay, so we'll just change up the prompt. Okay. Let's go here. I'm curious what Google is trying to do with this, because they also have their other app where you could create something similar using its Google AI Studio. So let's just try to also create it there and see what that comes back with, because that's what I was a little confused around when they released this, because they also have, you could build apps within Gemini, within Google AI Studio, and then here, I'm going to paste the same exact thing, and let's see what it comes back with. So I just feel like, is one tailored towards more of a coder background and one tailored towards not? Because you don't really have to code within this app either. So I don't know if they're going to maybe phase this out, or maybe the Google Opal or Opal is like piggybacking off of this. So we'll let this go and it's going to create itself. And let's see what this came back with. So you see here, it's like a multi-step prompt where it says, okay, please enter the address, and then I'll search the web, search maps, get web page, get the weather, generate a report. And you see here, you actually get to pick the models of each step. So actually, let's just make this like a full, I want the end product to also, let's say, include a AI summary and a quick, let's say, quick slideshow, and give me a picture with the key details to post about. Let's see what that does. Okay, so let's see, what did it do here? See, like it's creating all these steps behind the scenes. It's actually really cool here, like generate it. And it's also giving all the prompts. Hey, you're an expert real estate marketing specialist. And then generate the report content. And this is using 2.5 Flash. And then here, you're an expert specializing in real estate analysis. And then here, see, under 6 seconds, no audio. Then generate social media image. It's using image gen 4, and then it's gonna put it all together. So I able, see, and then it kind of gives you an app. Did it not save the prompts that I gave it? Because I wanted to test it on the other one. Okay, whatever. We'll see here. Okay, and this came back with this one. But now this is not really so fair. Let's just say here, I want this also to include an AI summary audio, and include a slideshow, and include a image of summarizing all the key facts that I could post. Okay, let's let that go. Now we need to find a property. Okay, I'm just looking for a property. Okay, found a property in Brooklyn. Let's see. Okay, so this is what the app looks like. And then you could actually see when you click start, enter the property address. We'll just enter the property that I found on Zillow. And let's click submit. So now you see here, it's doing a step-by-step analysis. And you can actually see in the console which step it's actually at, what model it's calling, how it's calling each model, which is actually really cool to see. Just so you could get like a better like working like for your own sake of like how it works. So it's like it's gathering the real estate data from the property address. So it's calling 2.5, see like what are the safety settings, and then it's thinking objectives to get a comprehensive data. It created a list. It's working on an item. Okay. And like all of this is happening. So this is going to happen. And then it's going to transfer to here, here. Okay. And we'll see how this looks, which is really cool. This is like pretty seamless. And the ability to also add your own steps and like really customize it to how you want, I think is really cool. But I'm just curious, like maybe this is just more of like a cleaner output. So let's see how this is going to do for the same address. So I guess you see like the front end, like this is the back end that it created, and this is also a back end, and like this is kind of the front end of what it looks like. So between Google's products, I'm not sure what they're going for exactly the difference between the two, as they're both by Google. Okay, so this one came back. Let's see, recommendation by property valuation, neighborhood analysis, visual summary. Looks cool. I don't even know if this is correct, honestly. Red flags. Okay, these pictures are not so clear. Live map coming soon, comparable. Okay, so I'm not evaluating the accuracy of the information right now, but let's see. Does
The
this
property.
Okay, so I don't know if you could hear that, but that was just reading this, I believe. Okay, so let's see if this came back. Let's see what it's up to. So this seems like it's doing a much more extensive dive. So, and you can see each output. This is also has more. Let's see what step is it up to. Okay, now it's generating the report. Let's see. System instructions, you're working part of an AI system, so no chit chat, no explaining what you're doing and why. That's funny how it has to say like to AI, like don't add anything extra. But my point with this overview is kind of just like think of use cases that you have in mind that maybe other products are not sufficient from what you're trying to do, and try to use these tools to try to build out your own tool that is exactly tailored to what you want, because now it's possible. Like just try to get your hands dirty a little bit, play around with the tools. Like it might seem daunting at first, but at the end of the day, it's really just explaining what you want to AI giving you an output, you putting it into the no code builder, and then it giving you a product that may or may not be correct depending how precise your instructions were. And then kind of just iterating from there to generate something that will be useful to you. Okay, and this is still creating, which in my mind is a good thing because I'd rather take a little longer, because it doesn't have to happen in 2 seconds. Because let's say you just have an address, you want to do a review, like you could just enter the address and then go do something else. You don't have to sit here and watch it be created. See what happens if I put the same prompt into Lovable. Okay, let's bring this here. And let's get this off. Okay, and how about, let's also try base 44. Okay. Okay, let's set this off. This is still going. What's it up to? Okay. See, generate AI summary. Okay, did all of this. See slideshow. Maybe it's taking a longer time because I asked it to do a slideshow. Let's see what it did for image. It's not letting me scroll down. Okay, give me a picture of a house. I don't think it's that house, but it's not. An overview. Okay, maybe this just needs a little bit more time. Okay, let's see where Lovable is at. And like you could build really cool things within Lovable and all these platforms and get really into the weeds. Like I'm building out one of my um, websites that's not really live yet, but like I've kind of just put it on a subdomain of my main website that I just think like I'm just trying to make it as futuristic as possible. Where like I built all of this within Lovable, and like you see how like all the letters kind of just pop up. And, like it looks really cool, and like when you scroll down, it kind of just seems like you're scrolling into space. Like if we do it like here, see, and then it scrolls up. Like this took a while. Like this is live at this website, but like I'm just playing around with it a lot more. But because like every AI website kind of feels the same right now because it just has its own structure. So I try to look at just ideas from other people's websites that I think is really cool. And I just like looking at this. And I went to someone's website and it was kind of like this zooming in effect that when you scroll down, and I thought that was like really cool. So like I just tried to replicate it in space. And just kind of as you scroll down, just kind of pops up and goes away. And like this is what I'm kind of in the middle of for my own project. But if you see here, let's see if I go to, you could see, I'll show you what that looks like behind the scenes. Here. See, this is the website behind the scenes. And okay, so it's not fully updated yet because like I was trying to do this like cool overlay of like as it goes forward, it's gonna like go over each one. But that wasn't published yet. Actually, that was an old one. Yeah, so I'm not sure why that was still there. You see here, like this is all behind the scenes. And I was actually able to like set a subdomain. So then I was able to see it. But you could see here that I was working with it for a while and going back and forth and telling it what I wanted to do and going and really like extensively trying to think about what I want each piece to do. And where things got more difficult, the thing that I love about Lovable is that I'm able to connect to GitHub, which could sync to my project there. And then I would download the file, edit it within Cursor using Claude Code, and then resync back up to GitHub, back over to Lovable, and then publish it there. It's like that was a workflow that I really loved using. So that was just like a side note while everything else was loading. So let's see what this did. I don't know why it chose these colors. That's weird. I picked a very interesting color because you could barely read anything. Let's see what base 44 did. Issue, let's see, resolve. Is this done? No. Let's reset it. That's unfortunate. At the end of the day, that's what you like have to go in keeping in mind that when you're playing around with these tools, it's all really new. Like all of this was released, like this was released last week. everything else was released in the past few months. So like, do not expect it to be perfect. Do not expect things not to break. Like, you just have to go in with that open mind that, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work, but once you do get it to work, like, the things you can build are truly incredible. Let's see. Like, this is just cool that even we're able to get this far. Okay. Let's see how lovable we'll do. Let's see, it's base 44, trying to fix it. Let's refresh this. Okay, reports. Pretty cool. Let's see. So I'm not sure if this is, it was a little too fast. I'm not sure if this is correct. Like, you might have to connect it to other APIs to receive. Here, let's see. Okay, great. Now this is a perfect use case. Here. Can you look at the properties mentioned on this web page and the price and see if this is accurate? Look it up online. So like, this is one of the things I love about Comet is just like, you don't have to copy paste. Like, it sees what you're seeing and then you can just ask questions. Now, hopefully it will go online. See, now it's researching all those properties with the price, and let's see what it says. Okay. Yeah, see, like, this is not right at all. See, and it gives you direct links to that. Like, that's why I just love. Okay, so like, this is not right, but it's a cool interface. But you could obviously take the steps to go further. And okay, let's go with here. See, I don't think this is correct either. But obviously you could connect it to do like Google researches and enhance it. I'm just not sure. This one was probably the closest. Make sure all the data. Okay, I'm gonna kill this one because it's taking too long, and I'm gonna say remove the image generation and the slideshow generation and the audio generation and just provide me with the report and that full analysis. Because I think this one is going to be a lot more accurate as it's directly calling in steps to pull in. Okay, so now let's see. Okay. Let's see what's those. Yeah, that's one other thing I always have to keep in mind, that when you're building these things, just try to, I guess, start small and then just keep on adding, like almost like a Lego. Like just make sure the base works and then you add another feature or visual and then make sure that's working. Because when you try to do too much at once, you don't know what is causing the error. And then it's very hard to backtrack and make sure everything works when you try to do everything at once. And then AI also gets overwhelmed. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, let's do that same query. Analyze the addresses and prices on this page and let me know if it's accurate or not. It's more accurate. So that's cool to see. Just like a quick overview, and like if you don't want to run everything every time, like you just build an app for yourself and just enter an address how you want it to be evaluated. Let's see here. So this is still working. Okay, so while this still works, let's just go here and let's look at the video overview. So let's see here. I'm just going to copy that. And let's say create video overview just to see how it looks. Okay. Well, it's doing a very deep dive. So, like, honestly, that's a good thing. But if it does finish it, because some of them go on for a little too long. So we'll just let this go. And okay, this is done. We'll X this out. I think like this is very cool, but I still want to delve into like what's the main difference between the two apps that Google is releasing. Okay, so I'm gonna X out of this. And then Lovable, like you could also connect like Google APIs to do Google research and connect it. So yes, the numbers were not accurate, but that doesn't mean anything towards like the app's like reliability. At least out of the box, you might need to do a little bit more to connect it to Google searches. Base 44, similar thing. It's also really cool that it gives you the back end. Like you could connect it to an uh, AI API key, and then it could like connect to Perplexity and do all the researches, the searches for you. But like this was just an overview. Okay, let's create the video. Okay, now this is creating the summary. Oh wait, okay, I think this is done. So now let's see ChatGPT's learn thing. Okay, let's just take this and study and learn. Let's see. You see here, connected to actual data. What I'm just not sure about this study and learn thing is why is this different than just creating a custom GBT that says help you explain, like act as a tutor, and anything I give you, try to break it down and explain. Like, are they just doing it as an extra feature that you don't need a custom GBT to create? Because this kind of feels just like a custom GBT that just has the underlying instructions of act as a study partner and helper and break down whatever the person gives you in a learning manner. So I don't see why that couldn't be a custom GBT that they created. Like, let's see on the App Store, the GBT store. It was, let's see here, education. Like, what's the difference between using a GPT that's just like a teacher versus study and learn? That's something that I want to look into more. But overall, I think it's cool that it has that feature just already built in, I guess. Okay, this is still generating. Okay, great. This is finally done. Okay, let's see. Real estate evaluation 14. It's 31. Let's see if that's correct. Okay, great. That's correct. Recommendation by. Comparable properties. 3 families embedded. Off market sold, for sale, sale, bed. This is really cool. And we're going to see. I'm pretty sure this is going to be accurate because the way it was built was doing each query one by one through Google's API, which I think is a really cool setup. See, and these are all the sources. It's overall very cool. So that's something I would definitely recommend trying out if you have free time. Okay, let's just see here. You check to see. And accurate, plausible, accurate. Okay, great. See? So it's +1 for this app. which is very cool. Now imagine this is already built. Now every single time you want to look at any property, just enter the address. Like you don't even have to think about the research you have to do. And you can make this even much more extensive. Like compare anything you want to anything, like entire regions, entire trends, entire zip codes versus other zip codes in previous years. Like the possibilities are endless. Like once you really wrap your head around what's possible. Okay, this is still being generated. It says it's going to take a while. Okay. Okay, we went over this. The other thing was Claude Code Subagents. Where, yeah, let's try to create an app through Claude Code. And we will create subagents to do that. Let's have some fun. We just create. Just creating a folder now to open within Cursor. And then I'm going to open Claude Code, create some subagents, and we'll get it rolling. Check. Just gonna open. I just want this video. Okay. This video is ready. I might need to, let's see, change this so you could hear it. Content. Okay. Let's see. Let's see this video.
Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a single price tag for a single house and just break it all down. Because by the end of this, you're not just going to understand what one house is worth. Nope. You'll get this incredible window into the powerful forces that are literally shaping our cities. So yeah, let's pull back the curtain. All right, here we go. $925,000. Let that sink in for a second. That is
That's
the
cool.
estimated value for one
I can imagine
single house
sending
in
this
Brooklyn, New York.
to
It's
someone
a
and
huge number,
like,
right? It almost feels abstract. But that number tells a really fascinating story, and we're going to deconstruct it together. So the big question is, how on earth do you arrive at that specific figure? Well, getting to that number is part science and, part story. It's built on these different layers of value. Some are totally Flatbush. We're talking roughly 50, a good tied to what's right outside the front starts to act as this power talking about end shops beyond the neighborhood forces the one story. On one side, you have their own big influx of people coming from even more consistent self. We've looked at the neighborhood and we've premium for its context, being in a desirable, convenient neighborhood. And finally, is a story about its community and its question to think about. Whether you rent or own, your home has a price tag, and that price tag has a story baked right into it. A story about your block, your neighborhood, and your city. So, what story does yours tell?
That's really cool. I can imagine just sending that to someone and like instead of just kind of like an ordinary just sending them an email about the details of the property. Imagine just creating an AI audio of the property, video of the property. It's just like there's so many creative ways that you could leverage AI right now that could really put you at such an advantage that it's just so cool to think of all the possibilities. So I'm really impressed with that. That was cool. Now, let's try. Okay. Now we're going to play around with cursor and Claude Code Subagents. Okay, so all I did here was I made the folder. So now we're going to open up the terminal and type in Claude. Okay. Now, here is where they added their commands where you can actually create agents. So let's create an agent. Let's create it just for this project. Generate with Claude. So expert designer of a RE app that will be a professional in guiding the build to accurate as possible. Let's use it. Let's do all tools. Let's do blue. Okay. So now you see here that agent was now created. Description, name. Okay, so now we'll create another agent to speak to that agent. Let's see, project, generate. This agent knows everything about the research process into buying a house and will advise on any questions on how to properly do due diligence. Okay, so I'll just do these two subagents so you can see how they start interacting with each other. Continue. Let's do green. Okay. So now we have two agents. And you could actually speak with these agents. So people use Claude Code a lot more than just coding. Like if you just wanted to have a quick question, just be like, hey, what is the best way to buy a house? You don't even have to code within Claude Code. It's just going to delegate it to a sub-agent. So if you could just create your own folder with all these sub-agents and just ask questions, and it's kind of just going to delegate it to any single sub-agent that knows best about that topic, which is really cool because if you get comfortable within the command line, which I was not but like it's really is very powerful once you get comfortable with it. Like I made previous videos on like how I was like really just asking ChatGPT questions and like how do I open up a command line? Like what do I do? And like this took hours and hours and hours of just playing around, figuring it out. And then now I'm comfortable with it, but now I'm able to do so much more because of that. See? And then it gave me an answer, but you could like do anything you want with it. So now let's just do clear. Okay, so now let's go back to try to build our app again. Let's go here. Using the subagents. See, this might not be perfect because I'm not doing it in the best way it should be done by breaking it down step by step, but I'm just showing this to you on how like the subagents work using the subagents, and I'm going to copy that same exact prompt that I had there. Then hopefully these two subagents will talk to each other, figure out the best way to proceed, and then do it. Let's just see what it does. Okay, so now it's calling the real estate app architect. It's creating its own to-do list, which I think is one of the coolest things that Claude Code does, that it really keeps itself in check. I'm just going to say, yeah, okay, great. So here I'm kind of forcing it to think a little bit more. Like it has its app architect. So like, yeah, I didn't break it down, but now I gave it an agent that its job is, no matter what I give it, its job is now to take that task, break it down, which it's currently doing, make its own to-do list, plan everything out, do the design recommendations. So like I don't have to do this. Like like my agent is doing this, and then hopefully from there, once it figures everything out, it will then hand it off to the builder agent, which will then build the app. And you could see how crazy this could get because you don't need a million agents. And I think when you have a million agents, the large language model will get more confused. But when you have like a few core agents that are specialized in their certain task and not just like generalists, it's going to make a big difference. Okay, now it's building. Okay, it's saved the project structure. Okay. Front end, back end, database, Docker, GitHub, README. See, look, it's like planning everything. See, front end, then back end. This is really cool. And they actually doing it in Docker. Okay. just write, let's build the MVP. It's installing necessary packages. See here, it's not using one of these subagents that I specifically built. Maybe it thinks I don't need to. So I'm just going to let this run because I don't want to disrupt it. But then maybe next time, I think you have to say, okay, maybe use this subagent to do this and use this subagent to do this. If it's not clear enough, it just might not think it needs to use it. Let's just see how this comes out because it did plan everything out with, or maybe it didn't need like it did use the architect and it didn't need the home buying advisor because it, let's see if it maybe calls it if it doesn't know certain things. This is something cool that it started to do more, that before writing to a certain file, it will say, wait, read the file first, which I have seen it improve significantly its output because this way it just doesn't start editing before it reads at least what's in there. Let's see what it just gives me. Okay, while this is running, something else that I could show you that is also really cool. So if we expand this and let's say split the terminal, you can actually have multiple. So like I also have the Gemini CLI downloaded. So let's say something's just not working on through Claude Code. So you could just open up another terminal and just say, summarize what's going on in this file. So now, like, you kind of have two large language models side by side working on the same project. See? Summarize the folders. Okay, let's see here. It says this is fully built. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, this loading. It's loading. Okay, that was just a demo of this. But let's exit out of this. Okay, I just by accident exit out of the wrong terminal. That's great. Let's see here. Did it remember anything? Oh, okay, let's run this. Yeah, like that's what happens, honestly. Mistakes happen, and you might exit something out, which that's why regarding these coding accidents that I see online where AI by accident deletes their entire code base or you by accident delete it and you can't recover it, like that's why people recommend syncing every important change to GitHub. So then you could always revert to the last bit of code. Or if you're working within Claude Code and you have like important context you want to remember, you could tell it to update a certain file at certain checkpoints so it remembers what you worked on. So you don't have to like recalibrate everything just so it remembers. So you could say like, okay, create a markdown file of every step you're doing. So now anytime the terminal might close and it's not going to remember all the context, the files are going to be there and it will just quickly read the files, know what's going on, know what's been done, and then you can recover a lot faster. So I guess that was a good teaching moment and something that's important to know because I just closed the terminal. If this doesn't work in a few more minutes, and then I'll just probably share a different video of what it looks like because I'm not exactly sure of the operability of this because I just want to show kind of like the agents and how you could create sub agents, not the actual output. But like, so yes, like at the end of the day, you just see what agents are there. And then here are the two agents I created. And then you could kind of create a swarm of agents to help you in any certain task. And that is the gist of what I wanted to share. So that is, I believe, everything I wanted to cover for today. Obviously, there's always so much to cover. But if you enjoyed watching this, you could sign up to my Substack, my newsletter. I post about breakthroughs, my experience with certain tools, and try to be as helpful as possible. And you could go on my YouTube. I do a lot of these videos and doing lives of a lot of the tools and give my honest advice and how to use these tools to be as applicable as possible. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My name's Avi Hacker. I'm the founder of the AI Consulting Network. So if you need help in your company to help implement AI, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or send me an email. You can find it on my website, and looking forward to hearing from you. Hope everyone has a great day.